Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, and it's time for your Liverpool versus Leeds. Wow, let's start that again, eh? I ain't even got my lights on and stuff. I put the wrong time. I put everything, man. It's all a bit of a mad one. I think potentially none of us are looking forward to this game, if we're being totally honest. I've canvassed social media as well, and you won't think Leeds United have a game today. It's that brutal at the minute. But listen, we will get into it. We will go through the match preview, and we'll have a look at some of the stats. We'll have a look at the potential lineups and what we expect Leeds United to do on the match, and if indeed they will get anything from this game. I highly doubt it. Let's wait for some people to join as well. I incorrectly set this time for 10:30 p.m, which would have been after the match. So that's all a bit of a madness. It's going to be one of them days, I think. Like I say, I've been all over social media, and you wouldn't think Leeds United have a game today because I think we're all devoid of any hope. And all we have as football fans, for me, is hope. And it seems to me the only people that can't see this are the board. Because I don't see how Leeds United can get anything from this game. I hate to be this so disappointed, dejected, down, negative. But, I mean, I can't see anything else at the minute. It's really rough for Leeds United. It's really rough for me as a fan at the minute, and I'm not enjoying it. But you never know, do you? Football is a crazy thing, and you know, sometimes you might get some positive results. You just never know. You just never know. But I feel come full time, I think we might be hearing this, folks.
It's time to go!
Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course hit that notification bell, and let's get into it.
I don't think I do it.
Arsenal started like a house on fire. Signing number 2 for this new era. It's Judgment Day, people. Yeah! What did your boy tell you? It was never in doubt. Never in doubt. Don't believe in any luck, I believe I'm self-made, yeah. Yes, do please keep it locked at the Just Joe Football Show. Not only will we be doing this live match preview, I'll also be doing Leicester versus City live at 12:15. And then, of course, I'll be live from around about 7 o'clock for Liverpool versus Leeds, which will then be followed by your match, post-match reaction as well. So make sure you keep it locked at the Just Joe Football Show. We're going to have Super Sunday on the channel as well, so big up to yous that do come, the mods, the regular viewers, etc., etc. I'm really grateful for all your continued support. But before we get into it, let's check in with some of yous. Joe says, are there 3 worse teams than us at the moment? I don't think there are, mate. At the minute, like, I look at the relegation, and people say it's too early, but look, we're 10 games in now. Actually 11, be 12 come tonight. So we're a nice chunk in. Do you know what I mean? A third of the way through, you could say. So those that say it's too early, I don't agree with. I think we're now starting to see the table, you know, people to find their positions within the table. And I think, you know, between now and the World Cup, we definitely will have an idea of where we're at. And I think about the fixtures we've got between now and the World Cup, and I don't see us getting any points. If we can't beat Fulham, if we can't beat Leicester, if we can't beat other teams at home, what makes us believe we can beat Bournemouth? We should be beating Bournemouth, but I'm just not sure we will. So are there 3 worse teams than us at the moment? I think Wolves are worse than us. The only reason I say that is they can't score goals. You know, we have scored, you know, in total, we've scored 13 goals. Wolves have 5 all season. And we've conceded the same as Wolves. And look, Wolves had their own issues as well. So I would argue, yeah, I'd probably say they're a worse team than us, personally. Not squad-wise. If they change their manager, it could totally change. Nottingham Forest, I mean, they've had some positive results, folks. You know, they beat Liverpool. They got a draw. They've had a couple of draws. They're hard to beat, which you can't say for Leeds United. So I don't know if we're worse than them. But when I think about how the table's going to look, at the minute, this is where my head's at. I think we're in a relegation dogfight. I put Nottingham Forest in there. I put Wolves in there. I put us in there, I put Bournemouth in there, and I put Southampton in there. And that's my 5 at the minute that I think will be down there at the minute. Other teams, I mean, Villa will start to rise now with the Unai Emery. Leicester City have shown, even though they might not be great against the big sides at this minute, they will beat the teams in and around us. You know, they beat Leeds, they beat Wolves. They will comfortably stay up in the end. They may start even to climb up the table. They're a good squad at Leicester. Villa, as I said, will climb up. Palace, Everton, Brentford, their home form's just too good to see them, you know, go down there. And then I look further up the table. Fulham have had such a good start. I don't see them dropping off that much. I've seen enough from Fulham to think that they're not going to be in the relegation hunt. So it's tricky, Joe. It's tricky, and I don't know whether or not we're going to stay up. I've said a number of times now, if Jesse Marsch is still in at the end of the season, I think we go down. I hope I'm wrong. And best believe that if I am wrong, people will remind me of this fact. But that's fine, because I stick my head above the parapet and give you my opinion, and that's what I'm open to criticism. I stuck my neck out for Bielsa. Look, yeah, we stayed up. Maybe he'd have taken us down. But what I will say, I've been consistent with my thoughts on Marsch. Of course, my passion gets ahead of me when we get good results, like we did against Chelsea, because I'm a bit of a passion merchant. It is what it is. If we won today, I'm fickle. Jesse Marsch should be the best thing since sliced bread. But when I actually strip it back and you think about what I've been saying since day dot, I've been consistent with this man. I took stick before Chelsea at home. I actually took stick not only on here, but from friends. People reached out to me saying I was out of order. I know the content creators were basically were talking at me without saying my name, if that makes sense. I was well aware of this fact. I watched that stuff and I took a lot of flack for that. But I hate to say it, your boy was right. I say all the time, my intro says it, stick with your boy. And I was right. So, you know what I mean? I feel a little bit of vindication for that, but it is what it is. Luke Thompson says, morning, bud. You don't see a shock result for Leeds today? No, I don't. I don't at all. I'm, like the energy says, dreading this game. Dreading it. Are we bottom of the form table? So yeah, we're the worst. Yeah, I mean, we are on the longest winless run in the Premier League at the minute. We haven't won a game in 8. It's not good enough. It's not good enough, is it? So it is what it is. Let's get into some of the stuff. Look, Liverpool, disappointing loss last time out to Nottingham Forest in the league, but that is away from home. Liverpool are yet to beat a top side outside away from home. They haven't been great away from home. Don't let that lull you into a false sense of security. Yeah. At home, Liverpool are a totally different kettle of fish. Anfield under the lights. We've seen what they did to City just a couple of weeks back. Obviously, you think they're back and then they go and get beat by Forest. But again, I must stress that is away from home. If we were at Ellen Road, maybe I would give us a chance. I would look at it and say, do you know what? Look what we did against Chelsea. Look what we did against Arsenal at Ellen Road. We could be in this game. Away from home, I just don't see it. Leeds United are not good away from home. We're not doing great at all away from home at the minute, and haven't done really since Jesse's been in the door. We'll get to score predictions in a bit, Alfie, but again, I'm not confident at all. Look, Liverpool last time out in the Champions League, I know their league form's totally different, but they beat Ajax 3-0 away from home. But Anfield is the key factor for me. Look, Virgil van Dijk is actually unbeaten in 71 games at Anfield. The guy does not lose at Anfield. I think the last time Virgil van Dijk lost at Anfield, he played for Southampton. So that tells you how much of a colossus this man is. Look, people will say records are meant to be broken. But I just don't. Look, if Rodrigo's out, if Joffrey's out, who starts up top? It's going to have to be Bamford. Are you confident that Bamford can give us 90 minutes? The answer's no, in my humble opinion. So, I'm a big believer of Bamford. If I could pick anyone, it would be Bamford to start. But, I backed him prior to Leicester and Fulham. And he sort of let me down. But more so, the club let us down by not getting a striker, because we can see now, having seen him play more consistently, that the guy is nowhere near to full fitness. Not even close. He looks beat. He looks done. And now all these injuries. And we were told they were overtrained. They were mentally fatigued. You know, there might be an ounce of truth in this, but it's exactly the same now as it was. It's exactly the same now as it was. What's changed? What's changed? Ed96 makes a good point. Joe, you're still backing Bamford to get amongst the goal. He just needs one and he's going to start firing again. I was on that. I've now changed my opinion, because having seen him more regularly, he's just not capable of racking up the minutes in order for him to be able to find the back of net on a regular basis. I would love nothing more, because I do think he has it in his locker. Some people will disagree. Some people let me know. Some people come on social media and say, oh, I thought he was going to do this, Joe. But again, I stick my head above the parapet, so naturally I have to take the flak. And that's totally fine, because I find some of it quite funny. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek. But I don't have the confidence that he will be able to rack enough minutes up in order to get to that. I mean, 7 Cents says, Willie Masterclass. This is another mad one. Willie's in the squad, he's out the squad. Willie's in the squad, he's out the squad. Joffy's in the squad, he's out the squad. I don't know. I don't know if Willie's ready, folks. And I know people will say, yeah, but he plays for Italy. But this is an Italian side that haven't qualified for the World Cup and are basically trying out players. So I'm not sure he's ready for the Premier League. It's a massive step up. But we'll wait and see. I think at this point, Jesse just needs to... I mean, he's been throwing darts at the dartboard since day dot for me. But I think he needs to give them a chance, because what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen, really? Because we're going to get beat anyway. I'm sorry to be so negative, and I hope I'm wrong. But Liverpool, for me, this evening are going to wipe the floor with us. You know, you can tell me. If you've watched my content, this is so not like me. And people used to say I was positive for positive's sake. That was just my feelings. That's just how I felt. At the minute, this is how I feel. I have no confidence going into any games. I'm actually don't look forward to matches. And we're in it to be entertained. It's a release as a fan. You know, it has the chance to make and break your weekend. At the minute, Leeds United are just breaking every single day. Because I have no confidence. I don't have confidence in the people above Jesse to make the right decisions in order to turn this around, to make the right decisions in January. I don't have confidence in the manager to pick the right personnel, to pick the right subs, to pick the right game plan. He only has one game plan. And I don't have confidence in the players that we've got anymore. I don't have confidence that they can do it. Yeah, I agree with this, Rob. I agree with this. And the key factor is as well is that it's at Anfield. So even if their league form's shaky, at Anfield, they're rock solid. They're rock solid. They beat City just a couple of weeks ago. They are now, I know Virgil van Dijk in isolation is unbeaten at Elland Road in 71, at Anfield in 71 games, people. He hasn't lost in 71 games. But Liverpool themselves are currently riding a 29-game undefeated streak at Anfield with a plus 57 goal difference. They've only drawn 7 of them 29 games as well, winning 22. I have zero confidence that we can dent that streak. I've not seen enough from Leeds United to know that we can go to Anfield and get a result. We haven't won a game in 8. As I say, it's actually the joint longest winless streak in the top flight for Leeds United since August 1997. So that gives you an idea of where we're at. You know, it is not good. Bully B said it's mad to think how positive Joe is and now he's like this. But this is what football does to us, right? It can make or break us. I mean, that's a wild comment, Zax, because you can't put Bielsa in there, Sax Glenn, because he's the big during Radrazani's reign, Bielsa has been the one shining light. Whether or not you believe he was going to take us down, for them 3 years he was here, it was amazing. So let's not say he's ruined Leeds. How can you say he's ruined Leeds? To be honest, how can you say Radrazani, Kinnear and Orta have ruined Leeds? They haven't, because they brought us back to the Premier League. That's just a crazy comment. Without any of them components there, we wouldn't even be here. So that's mad. Do I agree these have messed it up? Yes. Have they ruined Leeds? No, they brought us back to the promised land. You're on a mad one there, Saxcland. I can't lie. I can't lie. Bielsa wanted Dan James. Also, Orta wanted Dan James. Let's not forget that. I don't even think if Bielsa was here, Victor Orta would have signed Dan James as well. He would have. The man cried. The man cried when he didn't make his move. Let's not pretend he wasn't an Orta signing as well. Although Bielsa really, really wanted him. But you've got to ask this question, Sax. I didn't rate Dan James. I did when he came in because I thought Bielsa would sprinkle his magic. But the fact is, he's just fast. That is all he's got in his locker. Just check for Fulham Twitter when he's playing. It shows you. You know, I had many debates with Leeds fans who told me he was a baller and all the time. No, he's not. He isn't. Anyway. But the bigger question is the fact that we've allowed Dan James to go out on loan. The reason was so we had funds to get a striker and we bought a kid from Italy who can't even get in the squad. Now, whether or not you agree he should be in the squad and should be given a chance, but ultimately, currently, he's not getting in the squad. So we've got rid of a player that was a squad player and did get minutes for a player for the under-21s. Again, mismanagement from them up here. Mismanagement. I don't even blame Jesse for that because Jesse always wanted a striker. Jesse always wanted a left-back. I remember coming out and saying this and people digging me out. After the Radrazani meeting, we're having a meeting this week, he said. After that meeting, he came out and went, yeah, so we've got Rodrigo, we've got Dan James, we've got Firpo, number one left back. And I was going, yo, can you not read between the lines? Go back and check the receipts. I hope people who are watching this, check the receipts when you were coming in the comments going, oh, whatever, man. How can you read into that? You're just being negative. Well, what I read into it was right, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, listen, we do need a change. You know, I want a change because I'm sick of feeling like this when it comes to my football club because it's been such a long time that I've felt like this. So I want to change. Now, look, I would love nothing more for the man to turn it around because this is what. Let me just put out there that I never want my football club to do poorly. So I never would like a manager to be sacked. Does that make sense? I would love nothing more now for Jesse to win these next three because then we're winning games and we're getting out of the relegation zone. I do think maybe if we had a striker, someone who could finish, who was 100% fit, maybe we would be in a different position. And maybe that's why the board are willing to keep Jesse because they realise they done fucked up. Do you know what I mean? It's laughable. All the vitriol should go towards the board, really. But also, I do think Jesse's not getting enough out of what we've got. Just with the match plans and all that sort of stuff. See, I'm even sounding like him now. The match plans, the game plans, the tactics. Yes, he hasn't been given all the best tools and he's been left shortchanged. But ultimately, what we're putting out on the pitch isn't good enough, isn't of sufficient quality for me to think that we can stay up playing this way. But again, I hope I'm wrong. But the state of the board, the state of the comments in the programme, I'll never forget that, man. Thing is, I've met Angus, and he's a nice guy, a very nice guy. But the condescending tone and nature of them programme notes when he was telling us we had 2 international number 9s and one of the most sought-out young prospects in England, and none of them play to a sufficient level. And let's be honest, Rodrigo hasn't played for Spain since he's been here, and Bamford's had 1 appearance for England, and they were telling us they were international number 9s. And Joffy, for whatever reason, the manager don't fancy, I don't think. Because even if we go back to last season, Greenwood got more minutes. Joffy was used and was a clutch player and came on in these big moments. And it almost feels like to me, like this is my opinion, folks. Again, if something works, Jesse will just try it over and over. So Click came on against Wolves, right? Click came on against Wolves and actually won us that game. Got us further up the pitch. I think he might have been involved in the goal. But Click won us that game. Now every game since, he brings Click on at a similar sort of time. He brings Joffy on a similar sort of time every week. Because Joffy came on and had them clutch moments last season. He's a clutch player. But I think, we're at a stage now where you just need to give him a full 90. I think you need to give him more minutes than what he's getting. Because out of the young crop, Joffy is the one that excites me the most. But then again, he might be injured. And that's another issue that we have to contend with and have to come to terms with. That Joffy is regularly injured already in such a short space of time. I'm not a physio, don't have any sort of medical degrees or all like that. But what I will say, I think maybe his build causes him issues from a fitness standpoint, potentially. I might be wrong. It's just, and that's not coming from any sort of knowledge. That's just a guess, because he is pulling up with a lot of injuries in such a what is so at the minute a short career. Like, he's still in his nappies, if you like, in that respect. I have to agree with this as well. Like, he's brought us back. I love what he's done in and around the football club, in and around the ground, all that sort of stuff. Ellen Road's a nice place to go, even with the fan zones and all that sort of stuff. So it's decent. So I will always be grateful for that. But ultimately, my man was talking in pre-season saying it is impossible for us to get relegated. It is impossible, he said, which is wild in itself. But then you consider that didn't go out and buy a striker. It's mental. It's mental. So like I said, Liverpool, disappointing last time out against Forest, but returned with a 3-0 win against Ajax in the Champions League, and Anfield is the big factor in this. Virgil van Dijk is unbeaten in 71 games. Listen, if you're a betting man as well, he's actually scored twice in the last 3 games versus Leeds, and we know we've looked suspect from set pieces of late. They have so many bodies that you can aim at from a set piece as well. You're not just having to deal with Mitrovic. I believe Kanate might start in this game. You've got Virgil van Dijk, you've got Darwin Núñez, and many, many others. So I think Virgil van Dijk could end up getting on the score sheet again. He loves a goal against Leeds. He's a bit of a colossus. I don't see how he causing problems this evening. I'm sorry. So he might even be worth, a skydiver on the first goal or any time. I don't know. But he's got a great record against us. 2 clean sheets and scored twice in the last 3 games against us. 5-6-3 makes a good point. Virgil should have had a hat-trick. I don't know against Palace, but I know against Forest he should have had a few as well, mate. Missed some sitters in that respect, so expect him to be a problem in their box and in our box. As I said, they're currently riding a 29-game undefeated streak. Winning 22 and drawing 7, and they have a plus 57 goal difference, and I expect them to increase that today, if I'm honest. And look, this again might be a bit of it's another depressing stat, folks, but Liverpool are undefeated in the last 12 games against Leeds United, home and away, winning 9 and drawing 3. So I think the best we could hope for is a draw, but I even think that's clinging on, No wins in 12 for Leeds United against Liverpool. We're on an 8-game winless run ourselves, which is the joint worst streak we've had in the top flight since August 1997. Not great. We're in the relegation zone, and no other Premier League has currently gone as long without a win. No wins in 8. This is why I find it mad when you consider all these different stats and the man's still in charge. I'm sorry, I think it's mad. We were 3rd after the Chelsea game, which was only 3 games in, I think. We'd beaten Wolves, we'd drawn with Southampton, we played Chelsea. It was like, right, okay, we're moving. And then to see such a swing, to go from that to now being in the relegation zone and now worrying as a fan where the next points are coming from. Where are they coming from? Because I don't even have confidence against Bournemouth, and I should have. Come on now. I had confidence before Leicester and Forest. I did after that Arsenal performance. But now, even if we perform well against Liverpool, I'm not going to carry that confidence into Bournemouth. I'll just go, okay. Like you have blips. the Chelsea game was a blip in the other sense of the word for us, in a negative sense. Like, that was the one anomaly. Do you know what I mean? It's like an anomaly. The win's an anomaly. It's easy for me to say. Look, we are not great away from home as well. Winless in 5 away matches this season. And we've lost 5 successive away Premier League matches. And do you know what? He's an even eerier stat for you. He's an even, I like to, sometimes bring them in, right? The last time we lost 5 successive Premier League away games, which is in March 2003, right? Do you know what that next game was after that? It was Liverpool, and we lost 3-1. So you could argue lightning might strike twice. It might strike twice, mightn't it? Oipa says if fans want him out, they should have made it loud and clear at the Fulham game. I think there's a lot to be said about the away support. Everyone's diehard. We all love our football club, but those that travel up and down the country, fair play. It's an expensive do, especially in the cost of living crisis. And they showed that day. I think the Fulham game, mate, it's gone past calling for the manager's head. It's gone past that. It's got to a stage where we're all apathetic. We all can't be arsed. Ellen Road emptied. People didn't even celebrate when that Somerville goal went in. Do you know what I mean? If that's under the previous manager and we score to make it 3-2, the place is bouncing because they know we're coming again. But, it's all a bit of a mad one, isn't it? It's all a bit of a mad one. So it's not even a case of making it like... I think if we get battered and battered well today, you will hear it in the away end, believe me. But I just think it's all apathy. People left. When that third went in, it was like, right, okay, let's go. Can't be asked anymore. Do you know what I mean? And that's how I feel right now. And it's horrible to feel like that, Oipa. It is horrible today. If we play well today and lose, will you be happy, Joe? I don't know. Listen, it's how you lose, isn't it, Jody? But I'm not going to allow my confidence to be sky high like I did after Arsenal, because we got fooled, didn't we? We got fooled basically. And this isn't just on Jesse, as I say. I do believe if a different manager came in, we would get better results. That's just my opinion. But it's not all his fault. It's the board's fault and it's the players' fault at this point as well. They're not being up to it. They haven't had good performances. The defence is shocking. I didn't think we needed any centre-backs. We could do with a whole lot, if I'm being totally honest. JT told me about centre-backs, and listen, JT's JT. Mad guy, love him. But he was right. Our defence is shocking. Our best centre-backs having to play left-back, and then he's getting in the head of a proper left-back. It's negligence again, isn't it? Negligence from the board. But the performances from certain individuals haven't been up to scratch as well. So there is a lot of people culpable for what's going on currently. Maybe I was too wedded to some of these individuals. I hear it a lot on other content creators. Big up to KG. I enjoy watching his stuff, and he makes a point like, a lot of people are wedded to these players, and I count myself in that. I am. But now the shine of my man Bielsa's gone. Now Leeds are in dire straits. I'm ready to say, sorry, move on, because we need something to change. I think if Jesse is still in charge, which I think he might be, because I think they know that they haven't backed him properly. I think they know that. I think that's why he's still here, because they're like, do you know what? We're going to be sacking this guy. When in actual fact, if you look at some of the numbers and the XG and all this sort of stuff, had we have had a striker, then we wouldn't be here. We'd be mid-table. So we've let Jesse down, and they have. So therefore, they might go, let's get to January. I think we might see some players leave. even though we haven't got a big squad. But I do think we might see some players leave. And we need to bring in better personnel. And if that, listen, it wasn't good enough for us to have zero net spend. It's not, you know. We need to go out and spend. We need to get a striker. Anyone at this point, I'd take Brembrett Diaz, man, and I'm not his biggest fan, but I'd take anyone at this point. So I think that's my that might be why they keep Jesse in charge. I'd hope if he doesn't get any wins between now and the World Cup that Jesse walks. Because one of the other things worrying me is if the board can afford to sack him. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see, isn't it? Yeah, Bearded caught Ailing, Cooper, Bamford, Click. Yeah, maybe they do need something, mate. Give me something. Something that's going to change it. But I think it's a good point, Rob, to make, isn't it? That maybe that is why the board haven't sacked him. Because if they sit down and sit in that boardroom and say, look, when you actually look at the underlying stats, there are occasions where, look, I don't like Jesse Ball, but should we have beaten Arsenal? Yes. If we'd have had a better striker, would we have beaten them? Potentially, yes. So, 3 points, that puts us on 12. We're sitting 15th. I'm a little bit more comfortable. I don't know what changes with the Leicester and Fulham results, if I'm being honest, because the tactics are shite. So I don't know if that changes, but there have been games where Leeds should have got points. Bamford should score the penalty, for example. So there has been the odd game where we should have got points. So maybe they look at that and say, Christopher, I've said, let me just say this. I want Jesse to win, bro. Like, it might sound like a bit of a paradox, me saying this, but I don't want any manager to get sacked because it means that we're doing poorly. Does that make sense? So if he was to go and win these next 3, I'd be happy. I just don't know if the project has got longevity long-term as well. Because let's say we do stay up. Where does Leeds United go? Where does this style take us? Where does it take us long-term? I don't think it takes us to Europe. I just don't. The mad thing is, these tactics will probably work in Europe. That's wild, right? That is wild. But you only have to look at Germany, right? Germany, gegenpress, all certain style, all play very similar. So this style works. In England, teams mix it up. They go direct. They can try loads of different things to get results. Like Burnley, for example. If Sean Dyche was Burnley, they would beat us every game. And they're not messing about with no press. Boom, straight to big man. Boom, straight to big man. Now, look at Germany currently. Union Berlin are top of the German Bundesliga, right? They're playing direct. It's not something that normally happens in Germany. So people don't know how to deal with that. So my point is, when you're playing in Salzburg, in Austria, this works because you've got a front three that has Haaland, Hwang Hee-chan, and Minamino, and you're playing against farmers most weeks, right? So, of course, this style works. You go to Germany, the majority of teams are playing a similar sort of style. They're playing gegenpress, so it's, you're going to do well. You're going to do well. In England, well, we just bypass your press, mate. We're just going to go long and knock it in behind. What are you going to do for that? You got no answers. Even against Palace, the frustrating thing for me was we could see what was happening. Or we could see it. The mad thing is Jesse mentioned it afterwards. So why didn't he change it? Why not just drop the defence? Why not? Listen, I'm not a tactician. I don't profess to be. But why don't just say to them, right, next 10, 15 minutes, let's drop. Let's drop back. Let's go back 10 yards. Yeah, but Alfie, come on, bro. on reflection now, you can easily say that. But every single player of them, from his performances, Minamino went to Liverpool. Let's not pretend in Austria, Minamino, Hwang Hee-chan and Haaland isn't a lethal front three. It's easy with hindsight now to say, oh, yeah, no, Joe, you're talking rubbish because they're rubbish. They were playing in Austria, bro. That front three in Austria is unbelievable. Come on now. Minamino moved to Liverpool, Hwang came to the Prem, and Haaland's Haaland. So, lethal in there. And Jesse managed them boys. So, of course, he's going to get positive results there. Look, I think what's worrying me as well, we have so many players out. Like, is it a bit of kidology from Jesse? I hope it is. I hope some of them are fit. I'm going to show you now what the probable lineups are according to SofaScore, and we'll have a little chat about them as well, and you can tell me your thoughts on that. So let me just quickly share my screen so you can see that. Here we go. So this is what they have. Let me make it bigger there. So Liverpool, Alisson in goal, Trent at right back, Gomez and Van Dijk and Robertson. I believe Konate might be in with the shout as well, having speaking to a few Liverpool fans over the past few weeks. Over the past week, sorry, should I say. So maybe Konate might come in. I think Thiago being in is a massive, massive win for Liverpool, and it is a killer for us. And the reason I say that is because my man knows how to pass a football. My man can play daisy cutters, he can play long balls, you know, and I just think with how narrow that we will play, that ball's going to be onto Carvalho, that ball's going to be onto Mo Salah every day of the week. And then they've got one of the best, you know, deliverers of the ball in Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. Just think about some of our games this season, how wide open we've been at the back, how much, you know, areas we give up. You know, in behind the fullbacks. When you've got Thiago and Trent Alexander-Arnold finding them passes, they're going to hit it on the button. They're going to hit it on the button. Leeds United, for me, will struggle. Darwin Núñez, you know, worries me. I do think, you know, a lot of Liverpool fans I've been speaking to seem to think they'll play with this diamond formation that they tried out midweek, I think, which had Harvey Elliott, Fabio Carvalho. But I'm not too sure. I think they will go with a 4-2-3-1, and because and the reason I say that is because Klopp's not daft. I think Klopp will want to go with width. I was talking to Liverpool fans, and they're like, you know, you'll probably play with a low block, etc. I don't see us doing that. We'll try, you know, meet fire with fire. I may be wrong, but I think if he plays with, I'm just so glad Jota or Diaz are not fit. Because if they were fit, I'd be even more worried. Can you imagine Diaz one side, Salah on the other? Our fullbacks mess, but they might as well not even turn up, folks. So, yeah, I'm expecting Salah to cook. I can't lie to you. I'm expecting him to get a couple of goals. I could see Virgil van Dijk getting one from a set piece as well. But listen, there might be changes. It could look totally different. But I think these two at the base of the midfield, Fabinho breaking everything up. We need to have Tyler Adams fit. Hopefully, Tyler Adams will be fit because he will cause Fabinho problems for me. Fabinho's not the quickest. Tyler Adams is quite quick, especially over short distances. So I think he can get in and amongst it, and we need him to be smashing into Thiago as well, you know. Thiago's so press-resistant, but Tyler Adams, for me, is one of the best pressers in our side. In the league, even. He's that good. So we need him fit. Obviously, Leeds do have their problems. Rodrigo, maybe he won't even start, folks. Will he, won't he? Luis Sinisterra, he might not even be fit. If he's not fit, we've got no attacking threat for me. Brendan Aronson is class. So Scotty 99 says Fab won't start. It will be Hendo. So that might be a change. Then it might not be Fabinho. It'll be Hendo. I'd prefer Hendo from a Leeds United perspective, if I'm being totally honest. Because again, Tyler Adams causes him problems. It's just whether or not Tyler Adams is fit. That's what I'm saying. So that's the probable lineup. But again, look, we're told Liam Cooper might not be fit. We're told Luis Sinisterra and Rodrigo might not be fit. So what happens at that point? Who's going to start up top, folks? Let me know in the comments. It's going to have to be Bamford, right? Off the left, we're probably going to see Jack Harrison. If, let's say, for example, if Jesse's right and all these players that he mentioned are out, right? And these are the players that are doubtful. So I'll show you this. So we know that Dallas and Forshaw are out, but these are all the doubtful players, right? That is a hell of a lot. A hell of a lot, right? So I don't know what that does to Leeds United's lineup. So let's say, for example, all these are out, right? They are out and Jesse's bang on and, you know, they're not going to feature. What does that do for Leeds' lineup? So I think it'll be Ilian Meslier in goal. I think we still will see Pascal at left back, and I think Cooper will come out and in comes the calamity that is Diego Llorente. I think Rasmus should, or maybe, don't know if you agree with this, would you rather see Koch and Ayling at centre-back and have Rasmus come back in at right-back? Potentially. I think I would prefer Luke Ayling at centre-back than Diego Llorente. Madge Apple says, Fabinho's been so poor this season. Okay, so okay, Hendo isn't fully fit. Who do you think will start then? Will it be Fabinho? Will it be Henderson? I'd prefer Henderson personally. But Alfie says, Ayling centre-back, definitely rather than Llorente. I think it's a good shout. Whether or not he'll do it, probably not. He'll probably just Liam Cooper out, Llorente in. Mark Rocker and Sam Greenwood, look, this is what I'm telling you about Jesse. If something works once, he believes it's going to work all the time. Sorry, I don't know why that's gone over there. Let me get that back up. I don't know why that did that. Once it works once, it's going to work all the time. And because Greenwood did well against Brentford, he's just gone, oh, yeah, I'll put Greenwood in there. Let's not forget, I think that's a bit kamikaze. The reason I say that is Greenwood hadn't played a single minute of Premier League this season. Then he throws him in to start in a must-win game at home against Fulham. I'm not too sure it's the right. I don't think it's good for Sam, let alone for the squad. But listen, it worked against Brentford, so maybe that's why he went with it. Matt Rocker, someone said he might struggle with the pace of the game potentially earlier on. I think look, I would take Sam Greenwood out. I would give it Darko JB. Why not? Because I don't like Click here, if I'm being totally honest. Click deep's not good enough. You know, Manny Norte says Rasmus for left back potentially. I was seeing the other day that apparently he's played there as well. So maybe that could happen. But I don't think it will. I think he'll go Pascal because for me, Pascal's been the best player this season in defence for us at left back. You know what I mean? So Jesse will say, no, he's been best at left back. We'll play him there. So Rocker, no Click, no Greenwood, bringing Darko JB for me. Off the left, if Sinny's out, I expect Jack Harrison to go out there. And then Brendan Aronson and then Somerville. I think Somerville plays on the right if Sinister is out and we move, Jack out to the left. Then up top, it's going to have to be Bamford. But then you're going to have either Perkins or Joseph on the bench because Bamford's not making 90 minutes against Liverpool. Definitely not. So I think we might potentially see one of, the youngsters, either Somerville or Perkins. I go for Perkins just because he's played in the Premier League, and even if it was a couple of minutes, he's played in Europe, even if it was a couple of minutes for West Ham. But I don't see, even if we go through that side, even if we were in good form, we struggle to get a result. So the fact that we're in really, really poor form and we've got all them players potentially missing, I don't see how it can be good. I want to know your score predictions, though, before we do finish. If I'm being totally honest, I think it's going to be 4-0. Not to Leeds, to Liverpool. I just think we will really struggle. I think Klopp will know how to deal with Jesse, and I think Jesse sometimes gives them too much respect as well. I don't know. Just TJ has gone 1-1. Alfie's gone 4-0 Liverpool. Ethan's gone 3-0 Liverpool. Danny Rumsey's gone 4-0 Liverpool. We've got a 3-3 from Dave Robinson. I would love that. Sax Glenn's gone 5-0 to Liverpool. Mr. Dodo 3-1 Liverpool with a late goal for Leeds, I assume. Oiper 3-1. Napa 5-1. California Yankee and King Arthur Sport 3-1. 5-0 goalless again. Jody says, I'm going positive, 2-0 loss. That is quite positive. Nige says 6-0. 4-0 Liverpool plus Klopp will want revenge for that UCL night. Yeah, true, there was that. 5-0 Liverpool. We've got 2-1 Leeds. Joe, it could be worse. Got 7-0. Christopher K says 2-1 Leeds. Virgil van Disney to mess up at that, mate. My man's he hasn't lost. The last time he lost at Anfield was when he played for Southampton. 3-0 Leeds. Positive as always, Andy. Love it. Richard says Newcastle 4. Yeah, you're loving life right now, aren't you, Richard? I'm jealous, mate. I'm jealous. Racing fans gone 3-1 Liverpool. Yeah, Rob. 3-1 Liverpool, Helen. Yeah, listen, the majority of Leeds fans are going for a Liverpool win, and I can fully understand why that is. Folks, I'm going to be back in an hour because I'm going to do the Leicester City versus Manchester City game. So if you're stuck for something to do, it's raining where I am. You want to join me, we can have a chat. I will be doing that game, and then I'll be live tonight from about 7 for the Leeds specific game. But if you're stuck for something to do in just under an hour's time, I'll be back live to give you a watch along for Leicester versus Manchester City. Will Haaland make the lineup? Actually, the lineup should be out. No, it's 12:30 kickoff, isn't it? I want to know because I've got him in my fantasy team. And I'll let you in a little secret, folks, as well. I have captain Salah. I have captain Salah. But the last time I did something like this, it worked out for Leeds. So against Chelsea, I put my Leeds players on the bench and I brought in James. James got spanked 3-0 and Leeds players bagged. So maybe it'll work in my favour. I've got no Leeds players in my side currently and I've made Salah my captain. So maybe it might work on the flip side for us. I doubt it will, but you just never know. Although I did captain Martinelli against Leeds as well. And we should have beat them, really, if it worked for Rodrigo with his assist. So, you never know. Maybe it works in our favour. Salah blanks and Leeds beat Liverpool. I promise I haven't been smoking the wacky-backy. Anyway, listen, thanks. I'll see you back here at 12:15 if you're free. If not, I'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock when Leeds take on Liverpool at Anfield in what's probably going to be a very difficult night. But thanks as always for watching. I'll see you in a bit. Smash a like on the way out.
I don't think I do it.
Arsenal started like a house on fire. Signing number 2 for this new era.